loves us so much. As we prepare for the word, I want us just to help. If y'all can help me, help us set the atmosphere. Not with any tricks or any gimmicks, but just talking to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. If you don't know what to say, let's just say, thank you, Jesus. And we're not even going to have the music to help pump us up and hype us up, but if you can just stand to your feet and just talk to the Lord. For some of us, this may be the first time you've spoken to Him today, but just talk to the Lord. If you don't know what to say, just say, thank you, Jesus. We dealt with this with our kids this morning. Just say, thank you for waking me up this morning. Thank you for putting food on the table. Thank you, Lord, I was able to make it in the rain and I didn't hydroplane. And thank you, Lord, I drove on I-16 and I didn't die. Because some people drove on I-16 this week and they didn't make it. But thank you, Lord, that you allowed us to see this day. And I can feel my fingers. I can see, I can touch, I can smell. And I can even use the muscles in my body to frown if I want to. And use the muscles to smile. But I don't want to lead you all. But I just want you to talk to the Lord for a second. Let Him hear your voice. Let Him hear your voice. Thank you, Jesus. Lord, we can't do it without you. I know some of y'all want me to keep going, but let's stop and just speak to the Lord. Make much of His name. Magnify the Lord with me. And let us exalt His name forever. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. That's okay. You can clap your hands. You can stomp your feet. He loves this. He loves to hear us say much about Him. Make a big deal about Him. Yes, Lord, you're mighty, you're awesome. You're the King of kings and the Lord of lords. You're high and lifted up. There is none like you. No one can compare to you, Jesus. Lord, as we come together as one body, oh God, let you know that we love you, Jesus. We magnify you, Jesus, Lord. Lord, we pray, oh God, that you will continue to fill this place with your spirit, oh God. That your anointing will flow like never before, oh God. Lord, that you will be lifted up and you will be glorified in this place today, oh God. As your word is spoken, oh Father God, hide me behind the cross, oh God. Lord, that you be proclaimed, oh Father God, that souls will be changed, and we all be blessed, oh Father God. Lord, we thank you, oh God, for the leadership of this house, oh God. Thank you for our pastor and our first lady, oh God. Thank you, Lord, that you brought them from a mighty long way, oh God, to minister in this community, oh Father God, to be a part of this family, oh God. And Lord, we pray that you bless their family, oh God. Lord, we come against every attack of the enemy right now in the name of Jesus, Lord. We come against whatever the devil has thought that he could put against Community Church, God. We claim victory right now in the name of Jesus. We plead the blood of Jesus Christ over this church in the name of Jesus. We pray your angels surround this place in the name of Jesus, oh God. We pray for your ministering angels in this place in the name of Jesus, Lord. Send your warring angels, oh God, in the name of Jesus. Lord, we said the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, oh God, but they are mighty to God, to the pulling down of strongholds, oh God. And we take captive every thought, oh God, and make it obedient to the knowledge of Jesus Christ. So have your way, oh God, in this place, oh God. And we won't fail to give you all the glory, all the honor, oh God, all the praise in Jesus' name. And let the church say amen. Thank you, Jesus. Psalms 127. Psalms 127. Thank you, Lord. Psalms 127. 127 and verse 1. It says, unless the Lord builds the house, unless the Lord builds the house, unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. Unless the Lord guards the city, Unless the Lord guards the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. It is in vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the breads of sorrow, for he gives sweet to his beloved. We bless the Lord. Today's topic is unless the Lord. Unless the Lord. Shake your neighbor's hand and say, unless the Lord. Unless the Lord. You may be seated in the presence of. We get excited when we think about unless the Lord builds the city. We're talking these days about building a lot of things. We're talking about building a wall and building many things to protect us. But the Bible says that unless the Lord builds it, they that build it in vain. The word unless means except for, if not for, meaning that if this part of the program is not included, we are wasting our time. Unless the Lord builds the city. Just getting a little background on Psalms 127, and I need to slow myself down because I'm getting so excited. But on Psalms 127, this is called a Song of Ascents. A Song of Ascents. It is a title given to 15 of the Psalms, going from Psalms 120 all the way through 135. And they call it a Song of Ascent because these are the Psalms that they would sing and they would focus on as they would make the ascent to Jerusalem. It will be a part of their program, like when my kids travel, we may sing the wheels on the bus go round and round, and we may play bingo, that's my car, or we may sing all kinds of songs as a part of our tradition. Now these songs were a part of the tradition of the children of Israel, the Israelites, the Jews, as they made their pilgrimage each year to Jerusalem. Of all the Psalms of Ascents, this psalm is the psalm that was made or created by Solomon, King Solomon. I think it's very important that King Solomon, out of all the 15, he is the only one that he actually contributed to. And I think it's important because King Solomon was a very wise man, amen. King Solomon built the temple, and if anyone would know about building, King Solomon knew about building. So for King Solomon to look back on his life and say, unless the Lord builds the city, they who build will build in vain, I can take his word for it, amen. Back in Atlanta, we had a builder called John Whelan. My wife remembers this. If you had a John Whelan home, you were doing something in Atlanta. And John Whelan would always put his stamp on the house inside of the coat closet. You open the door and you would see a plate saying John Whelan Homes. John Whelan home stood on his own because of the care and the work he would put into his houses. And if you knew if you got a John Whelan home, you could flip that house. Amen. There were some builders in Atlanta that they were trying to build so fast that they would cut all the trees down the back and bury the trees in the backyard. So after a couple of years of the rain washing off the topsoil, you start getting roots and trees coming out of your backyard because they took shortcuts. But you never heard an issue about a John Whelan home. Now I think about it, John Whelan was never out there himself tapping nails into the drywall and laying floors and running the electrical and running the plumbing, but he was the one that stood behind his houses. Now if I went into your house and opened up the closet door, would I see Jesus Christ's home? God's home. This home was built by God. The reason why the Psalms of Ascent is important is because there are different philosophies as to why this psalm was created. One was that it was created as a dedicatory psalm after Solomon built the temple. But I like another explanation about this psalm. They said this psalm was created and was spoken after the Nehemiah situation, after he rebuilt the wall. Some of y'all would say, why is that important? Well, Raymond, it's important because Nehemiah came along during a time where these walls had been torn down. They had been taken into captivity, and the children of Israel lost everything they had. And Nehemiah looked back and saw the remains of the wall. And Sister Maggie Cole, he said, let's rebuild this wall. And it wasn't an easy wall to rebuild. He had to deal with the haters while he was rebuilding that wall. Those that, and they didn't come with the black hat on and stuff. These are people, they call themselves friends. You got people like a Sanballat and a Tobias that act like they was there for them, but behind closed doors they was trying to demolish the wall and set up traps to try to take down the wall. Well, the reason why that is important because this song has a whole lot more meaning when you think about it. As they were traveling to Jerusalem, they remember the stories from their ancestors, how the Lord brought them from a mighty long way. Somebody can say amen. And they were thinking that makes me say, this song is not a song for the faint of heart. This song is not a song for anyone who's never done anything. This song for those of us that went out there and tried and failed. Am I the only one? I know how it feels to start businesses and watch them fail. I know how it feels to have plans and watch my plans fall apart, Sister Sierra. I know how it feels to think that I got it going on and I'm a pretty smart guy and I got my degree on the wall and it meant absolutely nothing. See, it takes an experience with God to come to the point where you say, unless the Lord builds the house. Because if you built houses on your own and it never failed, you wouldn't be able to say this song. But it's for those of us that have been through it, we've tried it on our own and realized that trying it on your own does not work. We've tried it on our own and we've labored and we've stayed up all night and we've got to work early and stayed to work late. I remember when I had a restaurant, I would get there before the mall opened. I would turn on the fryers and I would hope for a day of sales and I would stand all day and nobody would come to my counter. But I remember there were times I walk in and I pray and I seek the Lord and I find myself calling for help. I call my wife and say, baby, bring some more cakes because we've sold out. I had to go to the grocery store and get more French fries because we've sold out. I had to go to even Chick-fil-A and say, can I borrow a bag of fries? I need some help. And Chick-fil-A would be mad and say, you can't sell our fries over there. So I had to go to the American Deli and buy fries a la carte. Pay $2 for some hot fries for them so I can sell it to my customers. So I know how it feels both sides of the aisle. If you try to build something that's falling, then you know that unless the Lord builds the city, it will not work. Unless the Lord is in our plans and we seek the Lord in what we're doing, we're just wasting our time. Does this mean that we don't build? No. We're supposed to build, but we want God's blessing on everything that we build. There came a point in time when people got beside themselves and they felt like we can do this. And when you turn to Genesis chapter 11, I want to read a big example of what happens when we try to build on our own. Genesis chapter 11 and verse 1, and it's going to be on the screen. It says, now the whole earth had one language and one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Then they said to one another, come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly. They had brick for stone and they had asphalt for mortar. And they said, come, let us build ourselves a city. Let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top is in the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth. Here's the kicker, but the Lord. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built. And the Lord said, indeed, the people are one, and they have all one language, and this is what they began to do. Now nothing that they purpose to do will be withheld from them. Come, let us go down and there confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from there over the face of all the earth, and they ceased building the city. Therefore its name is called Babel, because the Lord confused the language of all the earth. And from there the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of all the earth. We see here in the Tower of Babel, men came together and said, let us build. Let us do this and let us do that. And growing up, I used to hear this story, and it almost sounded like the Lord was scared of what they were doing, as if they were going to become great. But that's not the case. Because if you look at the Bible says, the Lord, look at verse number, it's in there, verse number 6. Thank you, Pastor. The Lord said, let us come down. Can you imagine, no matter how big man tries to build, the Lord still had to stoop down to see what they were doing. He had to come down to see what they were doing. So, and what they were building was so great, but it was so great that it was still too small for God. He had to stoop down and come down and see this little bitty thing that man is trying to build. You can never outbuild God. You can never outdo God. But because God was in the midst, he came and confused them. They were saying, hey John, pass me a C-wrench. John said, here's your C-wrench. And they said, hey, Billy, why don't you pass me some nails? And Billy said, here's the nails. And he said, hey, Stacy, where are the bricks at? Here come the bricks. And all of a sudden, he said, come on, start stand. Stacy said, what? Come on, start stand. And Stacy said, I don't know no different languages, John said. I say I got a million one. Parlez-vous français or something. And all of a sudden they were confused. You know, all that's in Spanish and college, I'm sorry. But they were confused and they were wondering, why can't we get together? God scattered them and confused their languages. Because they built the city without God. We see that unless the Lord builds the city, they who build in vain. But what we're trying to do is not just focus on the negative side. Because what we're doing is we're building a total dependence on God. A total dependence on God. And we talk about this all the time. And even Pastor talked about this last week when he talked about Nebuchadnezzar. How Nebuchadnezzar was doing all these great things. And then he just got beside himself. He walked around his cabins and looked at everything he did, and he got the big, started saying, look what I've done. And next thing you know, that brother was out there eating grass with the animals and stuff. And God just took it all away from him. Not only do we want to say, unless the Lord, but we want to go a step further and say, let's not just focus on the negative side, but let's focus on the dependence and say, in Him. In Him. In Him. And we're going to go to Bible school for a second. I want to just throw out a few scriptures because there may be somebody out there who feel like I'm just making this stuff up. Y'all ain't going to say it here, but you'll say it at home. I'm probably there making that stuff up. So I'm going to go old school church of God and bring out about 50 scriptures on y'all so y'all can get the point as to what I'm trying to say. And I ain't up here making up no stuff. So we got them on the screen too so y'all can see it. If you make a note of this, please. In Him, as we go through some things, our perspectives change. I think about Paul the Apostle. Paul had a huge resume. But then Paul got to the point, he went down the list of everything he's ever done, all his accomplishments. And then you hear Paul say, one thing I've learned. He says, I've learned how to be content with the things that I've had. Now, we've talked about that before. To get to the point where you realize that there's some things in life you just have to learn. Like I had to learn that I can't build my business without God. I had to learn that. Because I thought I was a pretty smart guy. But we learned that without God we can't do anything. The first scripture is always a reminder for us. Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. And lean not to your own understanding. But in all your ways submit to Him, acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. Psalm 7:3 and 7:26 says, my flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Psalms 121, following on the screen, it says, I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. Proverbs 19 and 21 says, many are the plans in a person's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails. We know Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures and He leads me beside quiet waters. And then we've already talked about Philippians 4:11 says, I'm not saying this because I'm in need, Paul says, for I have learned to be content in whatever I have. I want to slow down a little bit and I want us to focus on John 15. Because this is the key, as they say. John 15 and verse 1. And I want everyone to focus on this scripture. This scripture is the key to your success. We have a lot of young adults in here, and as you're getting ready and preparing for life, and you're rolling out your plans, and people always ask you for the last 6-7 years, what do you want to be when you grow up? And now, Mark, it's time to grow up, and now you're getting ready to step out into the real world. This is the key. Yeah. John chapter 15 and verse 1 says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. That's a good thing. And every branch that bears fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. You are already clean because of the word which I have spoken to you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, unless it abides in the vine, neither can you, unless you abide in me. I am the vine, and you are the branches. He who abides in me, and I in him, bears much fruit. For without me, you can do nothing. If anyone does not abide in me, he is cast out as a branch and is withered, and they gather them and throw them into the fire, and they are burned. If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, I love this part, you will ask what you desire, and it shall be done for you. By this my Father is glorified, that you may bear much fruit, so you will be my disciples. That's the key. Let's look back at Psalms 27, and I'm coming to a close, because we're going to read this, and then I always hear the question, well, how are we supposed to apply this? What's next? I'm so glad you asked. Psalms 127, I want us to look at it just a little bit differently. I want us to take out the word unless and put in the word since. Because now we've come to a realization that we realize that unless the Lord builds the house, we labor in vain. Amen? Yeah. Now let's go, and now we've matured a little bit. We standing up straight, we ready. And now we're saying not unless the Lord builds a house, we're saying since the Lord is building my house. Check this out. Since the Lord builds the house, they who labor do not labor in vain. Since the Lord guards the city, the watchman does not stay awake in vain. Oh, I love this part. I don't have to rise up early and sit up late. Yes, I'm saying it again. Dennis Lester don't have to rise up early and sit up late. How many of y'all want that to be your testimony too? Okay, well, y'all say it with me. It's on the screen. You give me the one that's on the screen. The since the Lord, because I want us to say this together. This is your testimony. Since the Lord, if it's not on there, I want y'all to repeat after me. Since the Lord builds my house, I don't labor in vain. Since the Lord guards my city, I don't have to stay awake in vain. I don't have to rise up early and sit up late to eat the bread of sorrows. For the Lord gives me sleep. Amen. Yes, you can clap for that. You don't have to worry no more. You don't have to fret. As a matter of fact, the Bible has so many scriptures about don't worry. Don't worry. When presidents come into office, during their inauguration, during their swearing in, they always have, and I thank God that our country has not gotten to the point where they've taken this away, they always have their hand on the Bible. And if you ever just have some time in your hand and look for something interesting to do, research each one of the presidents and what scripture they used for the day of their swearing in, for their inauguration. Dwight D. Eisenhower, President Dwight D. Eisenhower used this scripture, Psalms 127, when he was sworn in. They said he realized that unless the Lord builds the city, they who build it, yes, build it in vain. And I looked at that and I said, okay, President Eisenhower used this scripture the day he was sworn in, and I Googled to see what were some of the key accomplishments of his presidency. And they said the first thing was he sponsored and signed the Civil Rights Bill of 1957. This is the first civil rights bill since Reconstruction. Much to Eisenhower's dismay, of course, Congress amended the bill a little bit and weakened its effectiveness, but he is the one who sponsored the Civil Rights Bill. He signed the Federal Highway Act. It's because of President Eisenhower we have interstates going throughout our country. He's the one who brought us the interstate system. They say he balanced the budget not once, not twice, but 3 times during his presidency. He also ended the Korean War. And then lastly, during his whole tenure, he kept America at peace. They say he was confronted with the Cold War, the Korean, Vietnam, Formosa, Suez, Hungary, Berlin, and the U-2, but he always found a way to negotiate to keep the United States from going into war. So I think it was significant that this president put his hand on the Bible and realized that Psalm 127 will be the foundation of his leadership. Today, as we bring all this to a close and we get to the question that you've been asking, and you say, I heard everything you said, brother. I heard everything that you've thrown at us today. But how do I apply this to my life? As you go home today, I want you to sit down and take all your cares, all your concerns, all your plans, and imagine you have them like in a wheelbarrow. Put everything in the wheelbarrow. Or write it on a piece of paper. So you take that wheelbarrow and I want you to roll it to the Lord. And give all your cares. The Bible says, cast all your cares upon the Lord. And make a commitment to yourself. When I was in college, when I was first saved, those of us that have been awakened and rejuvenated and given salvation and a new life, we're so nervous about doing anything to disappoint the Lord. Remember those days? Remember those days you didn't even want to turn on secular music because you was just scared you was going to go to hell. You didn't watch a movie on Sunday. You were just so excited. David Toss would take me back to, my first days when I first saw and received salvation. But I remember I'd be in college and I went to school in Atlanta and you could never find parking spaces downtown Atlanta trying to go to school. And I would go and I would pray that the Lord would give me a parking space. And you would just see sharks, like cars. It was like sharks just hovering around. You ever drove into a parking lot like hoping somebody, you thought you see brake lights and you think they about to back out, but you realize they just got in there and you're like, oh man. But every day it was like a walk of faith. And I can't tell you how many times I would drive in that parking lot and I'd drive and the car would pull out right before me and then you just turn right back in. And just trust in the Lord for a parking space was that important. And we wanted to get to the point that whatever we do, whether we eat or drink, we do it all to the glory of God. God cares about your parking spaces. He cares about those little things. God cares if your fries are hot at McDonald's. He cares about everything that you care about. God cares about that. I don't know what y'all mean, Pastor, we like hot fries. Gotta have them hot fries. But God cares about everything that's going on in your life. Even the things that you think, because the devil try to make you think that God doesn't care. He cares about that. He knows getting ready to go into school. He cares about who your professor's going to be. He cares about what classes you're going to take, who your friends are going to become, what you're going to be influenced and impacted with when you're on those campuses. He cares about the TV shows that we watch. He cares about the conversations that we have. The Bible says he even judges our thoughts and our hearts. He cares about all those things. So what do I do? Submit my life to the Lord. Trust in the Lord with everything that you have. Don't make a plan. Don't build your house. Don't do anything without consulting the Lord first. God will open so many doors for you. but you got to trust God for the doors that he closes as well. I remember I had a customer who I really wanted to bring to my office for insurance. And I wrote this brother a policy. Brother Holmes, you remember this kind of stuff. He used me to get through closing for his house because I wrote him a real good cheap policy. As soon as he got through closing, he canceled that policy on me. Broke my heart because I got charged back and everything. That brother came back to me last week, asked me to write him a policy. I pulled his record up and saw this brother had all kinds of claims, fraudulent claims that he filed with another carrier, and now they had dropped him and he was coming back to me. And the Lord told me, you see, that would have been on your record. And I was so hurt when the customer canceled this policy, but the Lord allowed him to cancel that so that wouldn't affect my loss ratios. So that wouldn't affect my record. So they wouldn't investigate me and say, why did you write a policy for a guy who's going to file all these fraudulent, illegal claims and could have messed up my integrity? But the Lord caused that man to leave and do all that mess somewhere else. And so a lot of times we don't see what's going on and we think that God is just punishing us or we think our life is just messed up, but sometimes he's preventing us and keeping us from stuff that can tear us apart and hurt us. So let's learn to thank God for every door that he opens, and let's learn to thank God for every door that he closes. Yes, yes. And last, as we stand to our feet, remember that we are stewards on this earth. Best example I've heard about a steward is an airplane stewardess. She just goes on the airplane, and she works and she serves. Make sure you got the bottled water and the peanuts, depending if you're, American Airlines or on Spirit, you may not get anything. But she makes sure that you got everything that you need. She doesn't worry about who's flying the plane. She doesn't have to worry about is there enough gas in the plane. She doesn't have to look out the window to see if they made it to the destination. She just serves and trusts that the pilot has all that under control. In the same way as we go through this life, you're just a steward. We're just a steward of what God has given us. Let's just serve to the best of our ability and let the Lord worry about everything else. Let him worry about how you're going to get to your destination. Let him worry about the food on your table. Let him worry about your peace and everything that's going to happen, and just serve. Today, if you want to come down to the altar, we want to pray with you. Not for you, but we want to pray with you. And there's some of us that are making a new commitment that, Lord, from this day forward, I want you to build my house. From this day forward, I want you to watch my city. From this day forward, I want to live for you, and I want to trust you with everything that I have. And if that's your prayer today, make sure you join us today. And let's pray with you as we agree that the Lord is going to bless us, and he's going to bless us indeed. Amen.